Hi there, this is Scott over at Rocket 9 Solutions. Wanted to share something we're working on right now with Opal. For those who don't know, Opal is one of the newer agentic framework platforms coming out of Google. So if you've used Make or N8N, we like to use N8N internally here at Rocket 9. It's good for taking what we might do with an AI like ChatGPT and do some sort of automation around it. And it could always be just running true like an agent is just always available. So this is Opal.Google. I'm going to pull up what I had built recently and then give you an idea of what we're doing, tell you a little bit about it. So in this case, what you see in the blue box is essentially are saved prompts with instructions. You could do the same thing if you set your system instructions or if you save like a project in ChatGPT. Try to keep everything together. In this case, also, not only is it all together, but I can just have it running all the time. So in this case, the request that came in from a customer was, hey, our developer cycles have really rapidly increased thanks to AI assisted development, which I think is marvelous. There are some cautions, and I can tell you some more about that in just a minute. But in their case, they've done like the equivalent of, I think, what I calculate is 40 sprints within a month. That's pretty fast. So what do we do on our product side to be able to stay up with that? Well, one thing we want to do is verify these ideas as much as we can, as early as we can, and AI can certainly make that a lot faster. I think do a really good job too as well. So I'm going to run this so you can see it running in the background, and we'll continue on. I'll show you the results somewhere else. I'm going to start this. So this is where we might put in our idea from a stakeholder. So maybe we have a mini intro to AI course for business analysts, perhaps. That could be something interesting. That's our idea. Maybe we try that here at Rocket 9. Let's see. Now what's going to do is these prompts, the original request came in, and our response was like, well, if you have that AI's ability to help out your product group, then let's get back to one of my recommendations is David Bland's work on verifying these ideas. So look at the assumptions, look at the risks, look at the tests you could do to mitigate those risks. So before we even begin working on an idea, we can do some verification and validation up front. And the cost of that goes way, way, way down. So in this case, in the workshop, we would actually be doing hands-on practicing, right? Assumptions, map those out on a risk matrix, come up with experiments we might run against those, etc. Now, I took those same prompts, though, and put it in here, and you can see it's running now because I just entered the idea. And it'll look at the assumptions and then take the result of that kind of research about what are these assumptions you might find out there based on these criteria that we look at, and then generate risks against those assumptions, and then take the result of all the risks it finds, and then give that to the other one that says, okay, generate tests to verify, and how can we kind of retire these risks or address these risks, and they do that automatically. And the output, in this case, I chose it to be a slide deck. You could make it a Google Doc, you could make it a website, whatever you might want with some kind of nice presentation feel, dress it up a little bit, but the core of it will already be done in the time it takes for us to have this conversation. The thing I want to add while it's finishing up is when dev does speed up, part of what we need to do is learn the skills for developers to make sure it is not just compiling, but it is delivering what they want. And those are skills that maybe we haven't had to have it front and center as much. So I think that's partly why we see the behavior-driven development training that we offer from Paul Moore, the BDD course, has really jumped in popularity. And I think it's partly like, give us a framework that we can quickly validate and test. It is behaving the way we thought, not just compiles, not just no bugs, but it's performing the same way. Same way you could take a PRD and hand it to AI, and it could generate test cases against that and can generate features against that. So a lot of ground's being quickly covered in all this. So consider that as well. So we don't want to just speed up dev and not consider security risks, other concerns like that. Definitely do, and I think those thinking skills are going to come front and center a little bit. But coming back to this, let me show the results of the first one I ran. We'll wait for this. It looks like it's almost done. And in this case, I had given earlier change leadership training program. Let's see what it comes up with. Here's our key assumptions: desirability, perceived value, demonstrable ROI, and kernel capability, pricing, sustainability. And then for each one of those, it says, this is the assumption we have. What are the risks related to that? In this case, there's our risks. Target business may opt for internal solutions or general literacy instead of specialized training. That's a fair risk. How can we validate that risk? Well, let's use the fake door approach. That is a lead capture page. Collect 10 business emails from decision makers registering for a program brief. Quick way to check. Or maybe a lead magnet. And it just continues on. So assumption, risk, assumption, risk. It's just good core basic stuff from the product side. But what we've done here with AI, one, we're using prompts to do that. We don't have to manually do all that kind of research ourselves. And then we can even automate that. So in the time it takes for say a 5-minute video, we can get the results, or at least 99% of those results. Check back later for additional add-ons to this. And if you're curious about any of the AI related courses that we're doing, just check out our website. Lots of information there. Good luck to you.